Hello and welcome to Monday Madness, the show where we pick OP civs and abuse game-breaking bugs. Or rather, it would be, if not for the very rude game developers having hotfixed the game before I even had time to make this episode, so sadly there won't be a clear red thread or a specific strategy this week, but more of a compilation of strategies that emerged with the latest DLC, Lords of the West. So without any ado, let's get into some games. In the first game, we have a returning contributor, Paterna, playing as one of the new civs, Sicilians. Paterna is going to be revisiting a classic Monday Madness strategy and a personal favorite of mine, namely the Mass Scouts strategy. The Sicilians aren't exactly a cavalry civ, and at first glance this might look a bit weird, but the Sicilians have some very helpful bonuses towards this strategy. One being that the farm text gives you twice the amount of food, but the other one, and the more important one for this strategy, is that land units receive half of the bonus damage. What this means in practice is that a scout can tank 2 more hits from a spearman. This can make it very hard for your opponent to realize how many spears he needs in order to defend his economy, which is already hard if the opponent is going for mass scouts. Paterna is playing on Atacama, which is an excellent map for scout rush. His opponent is playing as the Tatars, and who is also opening with scouts. And playing scouts yourself is probably one of the better ways to deal with the mass scouts of the enemy, but of course the opponent does not expect someone to go for mass scouts, which is just pure madness, so eventually he switches into archers. Atacama can be a tricky map to wall, and Paterna is abusing this fact by doing constant raids on the enemy, who simply underestimated the power of the Sicilian scouts. Paterna is getting all the upgrades for his scouts and can continuously get in on the enemy economy. By now, blue player has gotten up to castle age and he's taken into crossbows, and eventually he does find some damage on Paterna's woodline. But at this point, our hero in red has twice the amount of villagers of blue, and he's producing out of 3 stables, and even though they are just feudal scouts, they completely wreck the enemy crossbowmen. Having lost the bulk of his army and realizing that spears are kinda useless against Sicilian scouts, blue player resigns. Thank you for your contribution, Paterna. In game number 2, we are watching Ludicrous Lael, who's also playing as the new Sicilians, but on Arena. Sadly, this game was after the hotfix, so we won't see any wall deleting bug abuse, so we will just skip immediately to the castle age. In this game, Lael is going for a fancier version of the castle drop, where he drops his villagers from a siege tower into the enemy base. This is a bit of a risky move, but since the Sicilians also build castles and town centers 100% faster, the castle goes up before the enemy even fully realize what's going on. He is definitely caught off guard here, and he doesn't have a good response to this aggression. Some mangonels come out in defense, but the donjons are just excellent at protecting Lael's mangonels. The enemy player is so completely overwhelmed and baffled that he forgets to type GG before he resigns. Thank you for your very short but excellent game, Lael. In game number 3, we receive a contribution from Brix, but this time he's on the receiving end of a masterpiece. The map is African clearing, or, Bedouins, and it's a Sicilian mirror. Both players are enjoying the enormous food sources and have a mutual non-aggression pact that lasts all until Brix makes some knights until the castle age. Brix is finding some villager picks with his knights, but what he doesn't find is the 5 town centers and the castle from red. Yes, you guessed it, red is going for the unique tech of the Sicilians' First Crusade. This tech spawns 10 sergeants for every town center at a maximum of 5. Red players stop making villagers and is abusing the market like there's no tomorrow to get the 5 town centers and the castle as fast as possible. He then moves out with his army of 50 sergeants and takes into arson and scale mail. But there is no need for upgrades. As soon as Brix sees this unproportionately large army under his town centers, he types 11 and GG and resigns before the enemy can get the satisfaction of eating all of his town centers. Just as a curiosity, this is what it looks like on the timeline when someone researches First Crusade with 5 town centers. The next and the final game of this week's episode is also sent to us by Brix. He is once again playing on African clearing, but this time he's playing as the Burgundians and it's a 4v4 team game. Brix is going for a similar strategy that he was on the receiving end of last game, but instead of the First Crusade he's going for the Flemish Revolution tech. This tech transforms all your villagers into Flemish militia, which is an infantry unit with almost the same stats as a champion, but also has a bonus versus cavalry units. Brix goes for a crazy boom, and just when his allies needs him the most, he clicks the tech and instantly receives 149 military units. He then marches across the map and takes down castles and town centers, and the opponent's army, who is mainly composed of cavalry units, has to macro away. They simply can't stop this massive flood of units, and this sudden wave of aggression sends a ripple of panic through the enemy team, and when one resigns, the others are quick to follow. I imagine that one would use this tech in the very late game where goal is scarce and trash rules the battlefield, but I guess Brix can just make anything work. Thank you for your contributions, Brix. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Monday Madness. If you haven't already, feel free to give this video a like and consider subscribing not to miss out on future videos. In the description of this video, you will find the links to my social media where I will be posting when the next video is uploaded. Should you like to take part in the next video, feel free to join my Discord where I will be posting the next week's strategy. Bye for now and have a nice rest of your week.